Hello, friends. Today I'm going to tell you about a cool action movie called Fearless. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. 10-year-old Huo Yuanjia is the son of martial artist Huo Engdi. The boy dreams of learning to fight and becoming as strong as his father. However, the man is not going to teach his son because he has asthma and training is beyond his strength. The father forces the boy to study calligraphy, but Huo Yuanjia trains in secret from his dad, and his best friend Nongjin's son does his homework for him. Engdi is the second Kungfu master in the city. Today he has to fight with the first master Zhao. Huo is sure that his father will win. Engdi quickly overcomes the opponent, but for some reason does not dare to deliver a finishing blow. Zhao takes advantage of this and dishonorably wins the battle. Yuanjia is crying with resentment. Zhao's son challenges the boy to a duel. Huo accepts the challenge, but quickly loses the fight. The boy vows to become the best martial artist in Tianjin. He and Jin's son steal a treatise on martial arts from his father's library and train all day long. A few months later, Huo again challenges Zhao's son to a fight, and this time he confidently wins. Years pass, and Huo becomes a real master of Kung Fu. His father died a long time ago, as well as the guy's wife, leaving him with his little daughter Jade. Huo dotes on her and constantly spoils the girl. An elderly mother of a fighter lives with them in the estate, who often repeats that our main opponent is not outside, but inside. But the son only smiles in response. In all these years, Huo Yuanjia has not lost a single duel. He has a lot of fans and followers. However, the guy became too self-confident and began to forget his father's lessons. One day, Zhao, who has become a great master, returns to the city and challenges Huo to a duel. Yuanjia expects an easy victory, but unexpectedly receives a very worthy rebuff from the enemy. As a result, Huo has to make a lot of efforts to win and once again prove that he is the best. Yuanjia is not going to stop. He wins duel after duel, easily defeating anyone who tries to challenge his leadership. The master becomes so self-confident that he calls for a fight and wins a couple of dozen applicants at a time. Huo constantly spends his free time from training in a small restaurant where he drinks a lot of alcohol. Little Jade stays up late, hoping that Dad will finally come and play with her. Yuanjia has long spent all the family savings and owes Jin's son a large sum of money, but the fighter is not upset about it at all. A friend tries to reason with Huo by telling him about excessive alcohol consumption and about the students he recruits indiscriminately. He treats his students to free food and drinks, which is why his debt to Jin's son is inexorably growing every day. But it doesn't seem to bother Yuanjia at all. Soon, Huo meets Qin on the street, the only opponent he has not fought yet. Many consider him the best Kung Fu master. There is a verbal altercation between the fighters, after which Yuanjia feels humiliated. During training, an angry master takes out his anger on his students. Soon, Huo's followers bring a barely breathing disciple into the estate, who was beaten by Qin for an unknown reason. Yuanjia, confident that the master did this to him for evil, hurries to Jin Song's restaurant, where Qin and his loved ones celebrate their birthday. Huo sits down not far from the birthday boy and glares at Qin. The birthday boy soon approaches Huo and says that he does not want to fight on his birthday. However, Yuanjia is determined. He does not respond to Jin's son's request to stop, and their long-term friendship comes to an end. Everyone leaves the restaurant so as not to accidentally get hurt, and the two great masters begin a confrontation. The fighters fight for a very long time, simultaneously destroying half of the restaurant. Huo brings the opponent to exhaustion and then inflict a fatal blow to his heart, leaving Qin no chance of survival. Yuanjia celebrates his victory in a restaurant all night, and when he returns home in the morning, he is horrified to see the body of his murdered mother. The fighter runs into his daughter's room and, sobbing, picks up Jade's lifeless body. In her hand is a bag that the girl promised to give to Dad when he gets home. Huo goes to Qin's house and sees his godson, who claims that he killed his relatives. Yuanjia rushes at him to kill him, but he cuts his own throat. The fighter does not dare to touch Qin's wife and daughter and leaves. When Yuanjia returns home, His disciple confesses that he insulted Qin's wife, for which he was beaten. Unable to bear the terrible truth and realizing that he is to blame for what happened, Huo leaves his hometown. In the pursuit of power and glory, the master lost everything that was dear to him. He climbs into the hold of the first ship that comes along, which takes him to an unknown direction. 6 months pass. Huo finds himself in a distant land and decides to take his own life, not wanting to endure these torments anymore. Fortunately, the peasants save him, bring him to their village, and the local grandmother soon agrees to shelter the guy. Her blamed granddaughter Moon takes care of the guest and worries that he is always silent and does not get out of bed. Time passes. Yuan Jia agrees to go with Moon to the river to wash his hair and cut his hair. Gradually, the thirst for life returns to Huo. He helps Moon and Grandma around the house and works in the fields with other villagers. During the few years spent in the village, Moon and Huo become very close. One day, Guy, a boy living nearby, is caught stealing. Moon and Sun apologize for the boy and beg to let him go. However, the chief replies that the guy will be beaten while the wand is burning. Huo stands up for the kid and agrees to take the punishment for him. For adults, the punishment is different. You need to fight with the leader, whom the whole district is afraid of. Yuan Jia steadfastly withstands the strongest blows of the opponent, not even resisting. He doesn't want his skill to hurt anyone else. Sun sees that the guy has already been badly hurt and begs him to protect himself. Huo starts dodging attacks or blocking them, but still does not attack. When the wand burns out, the leader admits defeat and releases Guy. The next day, Huo, Moon, and the children from the village are sitting in a field. The guys ask to teach them Kung Fu, but the master refuses, since a lot of power with unreasonable use can lead to terrible consequences. Gui declares that Huo and Moon are a great couple, but the adults do not react to his words. One day, Moon says he is going to visit his parents' grave. Huo remembers his loved ones with pain in his heart and understands that it's time to visit their graves. Yuan Jia tells Moon about this, and the girl supports his decision. Before leaving, the fighter promises that he will definitely return for Moon. Soon Huo arrives in Tianjin, which has changed a lot since then. After the fall of the Qing dynasty, strong European powers attacked China and partially colonized it. Many Europeans look with contempt at the locals, and the Chinese literally grovel before the West. Yuan Jia goes to the old family estate, where he is met by a servant of the Lai Fu family. Huo is sorry to learn that creditors have taken almost everything from his house. Lai Fu managed to keep intact only one room, which contained evidence of all the victories of Yuan Jia. However, the fighter tears them off and throws them into the fire, stating that they no longer have any value for him. Huo comes to his father's grave and asks him for forgiveness. He finally understood why his father did not strike the decisive blow in the decisive battle. Then he goes to the house of Qin's widow, asks for forgiveness, and pays homage to the deceased master. Huo sees 2 of his former students. They work in a foreign restaurant as security guards and throw Chinese people out on the street who don't have enough money for food. Students throw themselves at the feet of the master, cry and ask for forgiveness for betrayal because they are forced to work for foreigners. Yuan Jia is not angry, but begins to realize that he returned for a reason. In the city, Huo learns that the mighty American fighter Hercules O'Brien is challenging any Chinese master. In the career of a giant, there are 39 victories and not a single defeat. Yuan Jia is ready to fight him, but it takes money. He turns to Jin Sun with a request to give him money for a trip to Shanghai. An old friend refuses, but Huo, leaving, leaves a newspaper on the table in which an American fighter insults the Chinese. Jin soon agrees to give the required amount. Soon, a Hercules and Huo duel takes place in Shanghai. The American looks twice as massive as the Chinese. Yuan Jia tells the judge that he is going to fight honestly and with dignity. The judge doesn't understand Chinese well and tells Hercules that Huo wants to kick his ass, which only makes the boxer grin. At first, Hercules throws Huo around the ring like a toy, but the master does not even think to give up. He takes the initiative and tries to find the American's weak spot. The crowd starts rooting for Yuan Jia, who decides to end the fight. However, Hercules swoops down on Huo from behind and is immediately rebuffed. Yuan Jia saves the opponent a second before a huge nail pierces his head. Hercules is forced to admit defeat. Huo defeats many formidable opponents. He talks to Jin Sun, who decides to sell his restaurant to create a Kungfu sports federation. This is the first sports organization in China, which teaches martial arts to everyone. Thus, even under constant pressure from the West, they will be able to preserve their heritage. Meanwhile, officials from the Shanghai Foreign Club do not like the growing popularity of Yuan Jia among the Chinese. They are afraid of riots among the people. Officials propose to arrange a match between Huo and 4 foreign champions in one day. The representative of Japan, Mr. Mita, assures that he has found a way to destroy Huo. Yuan Jia understands that this is a trap, but still agrees to the duel. He meets Tanaka, his future rival from Japan. Masters easily find a common language over a cup of tea. Tanaka is an honest and fair fighter, unlike a Japanese official. The day of the decisive match in Shanghai has come. In the first fight, Huo fights British boxer Peter Smith. Yuan Jia knocks him out in less than a minute. The second fight takes place on spears with a warrior from Belgium. The master also deals with him quite quickly. Next, he fights with the European fencing champion and deprives him of weapons. Before the start of the fourth fight, Tanaka says that it is unfair to hold 4 fights in a row and suggests that Huo postpone the fight. But the Chinese is ready to fight. Rivals choose their own weapons. Huo takes the 3-section staff and Tanaka takes the katana. During a tense battle, they accidentally exchange weapons. Tanaka does not know how to handle a flail, so Yuan Jia kindly returns the sword to him. The first round ends in a draw. During the break, Huo drinks tea, into which Mr. Mita has put poison. At the beginning of the second round, Yuan Jia begins to lose consciousness and coughs up blood. Tanaka demands to stop the duel, but Huo, realizing that he will die anyway, is ready to fight on. On his last breath, he strikes Tanaka in the chest, which killed Chin, but stops his fist a millimeter from the opponent's body. After that, he falls down without strength. Tanaka declares Yuan Jia the winner, realizing that if desired, the opponent could kill him. Huo dies right in Jin Sun's arms. Mr. Mita is disappointed with his fighter, and Tanaka is angry and calls him a disgrace to Japan. At the end of the movie, Huo's ghost trains near Moon's house. The blind girl smiles, feeling the presence of the master, and runs to meet him. Thank you for watching.